it's Hannah here from Physic, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about depression in perimenopause. Although it's not one of the most common perimenopause symptoms, it can happen, and for some women it can be absolutely devastating and it can wreck their lives and lead them to want to take their own lives as a result. So it's something we need to be aware of, but obviously not frightened of. And I want to explain a little bit about why it happens and what we can do about it. So for some women, it's a question of the mild to moderate depression that they may always have had as part of their premenstrual symptoms getting worse in perimenopause. And for other women, it might be a completely new symptom that they've never experienced before. For those ladies, they may struggle even more because they're not used to it and they don't have those coping mechanisms already in place. Obviously, sitting behind all this is the massive fluctuations and the storms that we get with our hormone levels, and they work in lots of different ways. So we're complex creatures as human beings. We can't really separate our physical health from our psychological, emotional, and spiritual health. We're all one complex web, so we can't untangle ourselves and say, well, that's a physiological reason and that's a mental reason. They're all intertwined, if that makes any sense. What can happen sometimes is that childhood traumas, which we may have long since forgotten about, are beginning to resurface on the subconscious level. So we're getting the emotion that's attached to that trauma, but we're not in conscious awareness that that's what's going on. And a lot of women don't realize this. And sometimes in a first consultation, when we go through everything and we can't see any obvious, more physical reason why that depression might be manifesting, when we dig a little deeper, we do find that sometimes there is a link back to childhood trauma. So if this is resonating with you, there are lots of different things you can do to start looking at that, exploring that in a safe way that is doable for you. So advanced hypnotherapy, which I offer, is one really good way, and you don't have to dredge up or relive any of that childhood trauma. We can work through it without having to do that. Or if hypnotherapy is not your thing, you could look at maybe something like EMDR or emotional freedom technique or talking therapies, and I'm happy to point you in the direction of some good therapists for any of those if you'd like me to. Another thing that can happen is we get a thing called PMDD, which is an extreme form of premenstrual depression that can manifest in perimenopause. And sometimes that's linked to high histamine levels. And what happens is that the histamine distorts the progesterone receptors in the brain, so that when we're in the second half of our cycle, progesterone levels are higher, it can really aggravate our mental health and make us feel very depressed. Again, unpicking the histamine levels and trying to resolve that is quite a process. It's not something I can just tell you how to do in a video. It takes a while and it's quite complicated, but it is doable, and I'm more than happy to have a chat with you about that if you'd like to book a free call. And then there's just the other random things that our hormones do that we don't really fully understand as much as we'd like to at this point, but it doesn't really matter from my point of view, because even if we don't fully understand the detail of what's happening behind the scenes, we can still use our herbs, which I always call intelligent medicines, to go in and do their work. They know what to do. They go in and get on with the job, and you do start to feel better. So if this is a problem for you and you would like some help, by all means, book a free call with me online at www.physichealth.uk. There's plenty of help out there for you, and I'm more than happy to advise you once I know a little bit more about what's going on. So I hope that helps, and I will see you again soon. Bye.